Okay, let's start with this program we had earlier. And this basically has three cases. Let's say if both pressed, that means go forward. And if one pressed, mean port one, not just one touch sensor, port pressed, that means left turn, for example. And if two is pressed, that means right turn. And if neither pressed, that means stop. And that's essentially what we have going on now. And so that's the way it works. So both are pressed, it goes forward. If one is pressed, it turns left. If the other is pressed, it turns right. If neither are pressed, it stops. Okay, so that's what we have going on. Okay, what if we want to do it slightly differently? And so rather than saying when both are pressed, stop, what if I actually said when both are pressed, back up? Could we actually do this? So when both are pressed, in order to be back up, I would have to say, well, this would have to be reverse, and this would have to be reverse also. But we still get the other cases where turn left and right. So if one was pressed and one was not, one motor would be forward and one motor would be backwards. Now that would cause it to turn left or right, but not the same way as if when one motor stopped and when one motor is going forward. This would be like tank steering versus so this behavior is slightly different, where this behavior, turn left while one motor is on, is slightly different than this behavior where turn left when one motor is backwards. So it's slightly different. But what if I didn't want to do it? What if I wanted to have this combination where I wanted to turn by having one motor on, one motor off, be it when neither is pressed backed up? I can't achieve it using this method. It's just impossible. So we have to do it a slightly different way. So let's go ahead and see how we do that. So in order to do that, we have to modify this. So bear with me while I modify this a little bit. I'm going to get rid of these bad wires. Oops. I want to keep this port. And what I'm going to do is I'll make this slightly bigger here. So let's see when it's true. I'm going to add another case structure in here. So that's motor A forward. Copy paste. And this is motor B forward. And now I want this case selection here to be touch sensor 2. So now here we go. So it asks the question if touch sensor 1 is pressed, true, and touch sensor 2 is pressed, true. So if both touch sensors are pressed, motor A and B go forward. That's exactly what we had before. Okay, now if I'm going to copy both these here, make my life easy. Copy this. Now if only one is forward, this motor A is still true, so I'm going to let this one go forward. And now motor B is false, so this one should stop. Okay, so now we have the case where both are pressed forward. Now if one is pressed, it's going to turn left, basically. And now we have to have the case here. So now I'm going to really save myself some wiring here. I'm going to copy this whole case structure. I'm going to go false here. We don't need that one. Control B, and paste this whole case structure in here. All right, so now here we go. So now when let's do this one here. This one will be off. So now when motor A is false and motor B, or sorry, when port 1 is false and port 2 is true, we turn the other way. This is turn right. So port B is on and motor A is off. Right, that was exactly opposite of this one here, right? So this was where one was true and was false. Sorry, one was true, port 1 was true, port 2 is false. Here's the case where port 1 is false and port 2 is true. And so that's the turn left and turn right. So now the final thing we have to work out is when they're both false. And so when they're both false, now we can do something different, which is what we want to do. I can have them both reverse. All right, so now I get a case which I couldn't have had with those two separate case structures. I could only get this with the nested case structures because I can't be having both reverses and stops together. So that's slightly different behavior. And so this is an example of a nested case structure. Now it's confusing slightly. Does it give you more abilities? Sure. Because now I can say, rather than say back up, maybe I'm going to say pause and beep for 3 seconds. I could do things which are not related to the motors at all. So if neither are pressed, it's going to send mail to the other NXT or something, which allows me to do things which aren't just in the realm of motors on and off. And so that's an example of nested case structures, of course, all within a loop. So now we have one structure, a loop. We have a case structure as a second level, and a third level, which is another case structure inside that. And so again, we have 4 possible cases: true, 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 false, false, true, and false, false. So 4 possible cases.